Hey guys. Make sure this is recording. Okay. Alright then. Well, hey guys, how's it going? It's been a while. I wanted to make another video, and this one's going to be about past lives and how they affect us to this day. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because this has been a topic of discussion with my friends as of late, and in some ways it's been very bountiful. In other ways, for some of my friends, it's been a little arduous, and I just wanted to talk about it for a bit since it's on my mind. Well, let's talk about what a past life even is. As it might sound, past life is a lifetime where you've incarnated in another place and lived that lifetime out to its fullest, however it may have been. The reason why I want to talk about this is because your past life actually affects you and how you are today. What I mean by that is, I mean that sometimes there are lessons in other lifetimes you never learned that may repeat or may show up again in your current lifetime. This might happen to people who haven't lived the way they've been needing to in order to accomplish what they need, or their soul hasn't learned lessons because of life circumstances and within those particular lifetimes. For instance, I'll give you an example. With myself, I've had a lifetime where I was a woman. I was living in France and I was married to this dude. Can't remember his name, but I was married to this dude. We had a small family, 2 children. I was very happy with this individual. We lived by a cliffside, and when we lived actually in a lighthouse by a cliffside, this person I was married to, who I've also met in this lifetime, he was drafted in the First World War and passed away. When this occurred, I fell into deep depression during that time and subsequently ended up killing myself. I bring this up because this same individual whom I was married to in that previous lifetime, I was actually engaged to in this lifetime. And this same individual passed away, unfortunately. Or maybe, I don't know, it depends on how you want to look at things. However, when this person did pass away in this lifetime, my fiance, I fell into a very same place where I didn't want to be here, where I felt as though I didn't really know how to live outside of this individual. It wasn't because I was obsessed with this individual, it was because of how this individual loved me and how this individual helped me grow. And when this person passed away, it hurt me in such a way that I never thought it could. But as you know, I managed to get through it, which is why I'm making this video. My fiance passed away sometime in 2017, early 2017. And thankfully I had a lot of friends and family who were around to support me during that time, which I really needed. But that's one example of how a repeated lesson from a previous lifetime came and manifested itself in my lifetime. Another time was when I was actually a high-ranking military officer in the time of Lemuria. Now, I'm not going to go into that because that's a whole separate video, but there were some things that were going on, and I felt as though the people were being betrayed, and I went by myself to do something because I had a very bad habit of taking on everything by myself. And when I did that, I ended up passing away and failing at what I try to do because I try to take everything on my own shoulders. Well, I received that vision when similar circumstances started happening in 2015, where I was taking on too much by myself. And I'm leaving some things out purposefully because I don't want to distract from the topic of this video. Was taking on too much, and that's when that vision came to me, and I felt my own energy in that vision as I was seeing that person. I was experiencing what that person was through that person's eyes, and as it was, my energy was very similar. So I can tell that it was me, just in a different period. And sometimes these visions will show up because there are things that are affecting us still from those previous lifetimes that we haven't gotten over, that are holding us back in a lot of ways in this lifetime. Now, I know one of the first questions that might pop into your head is, how do we know what our past lives were like, and how do we learn from them? That's a separate video. I'm going to make a video about how to do past life regressions. See this video as like a primer, if you will. It's like a starting point for that one. It's funny, but it's also a little sad, because I feel as though the world we live in today is plagued by tragedy. And tragedy, yes, there's suffering and it's very bad. However, the worst thing about tragedy is that it lingers on for eons and eons until it is reconciled. Our world that we live in today is very much plagued by tragedy. I think one of the reasons why it is important to look at your past life is to understand and come to terms with that same tragedy within yourself in order to do the same in the world around you. One of my friends is actually suffering in a way with dealing with people as he was in other lifetimes. I know I keep bringing this up. I sound like a broken record, but just bear with me for a second. It's just, there isn't anything quite sad as knowing that your life can be different and not making the choices you need for yourself. And there isn't anything as sad as knowing you could help others in preventing that. I feel a lot of the time we get too caught up in our own selves and our own lives. And yes, it is very important to take care of yourself first. But I think helping other people should also be a priority. It shouldn't take precedence over your own self, no. But it should be a close enough priority. Because at the end of the day, whatever tragedy befalls another person, it lingers. It doesn't just go away. As soon as the person passes away, it lingers. And it stays for a long time until it is reconciled, until it is healed and transmuted. And however that energy is, actually affects others in the long run. It doesn't just affect that one person. A lot of people like to say we're not an island. Well, a person isn't an island. There are people around them. They can't just take on everything, or they can't just live by themselves. And while this is true, yes, I feel as though a lot of people don't really understand the meaning behind that. I feel a lot of people only say that in a way where is to help make the other person feel as though they don't have to be so independent. But at the same time, it creates a kind of hypocrisy in our society where we feel as though we don't really have to care about others' well-beings. And I feel a lot of the time, a lot of people don't really care about others as much as they say they do. I feel like a lot of people typically love selectively. They really care about the ones they choose to care about instead of loving others. But I think that has to do is a reflection of how they see themselves and how they love. When you love conditionally, you typically love selectively. But when a person loves unconditionally, their love goes beyond the bounds of the people who are around them. Their love can affect everybody, not just one person. And typically people who are unconditionally loving, you'll see that they are very kind and caring to everybody they come across, not just a few people. And unfortunately, as it stands currently within the time-space continuum in the world we live in right now, there's not a lot of people who are like that in this world. There just isn't. That to say I think that would be changed would be a bit of a misnomer, but also an understatement, because yes, things need to change, but things can only change as much as people, one, recognize and are knowledgeable of the reasoning towards it being changed, and two, they have to care about it. And if they don't care about it, then that just throws it all out the window.